Donald Miller is an important missionary leader in the wider church today. Many people have come to faith through Donald Miller's writings. Many people, like myself, have learned to be a better missionary in our local setting as a result of his influence, his writings. And so, as a public figure like that, he doesn't have a place to give a subtle or not so subtle endorsement to a political party, a specific party, in the most politically charged atmosphere of all, a national political convention. So whether it's a pastor's praying at a Republican convention or a Democratic convention, it is just very suspect to me. Here's what happens. You wouldn't have a Supreme Court justice speaking at a Democratic or a Republican convention. I mean, perhaps they have, but I don't think that that's a good idea whatsoever. It really compromises their impartiality, or at least the view of impartiality. And for me, it would be the same for a Christian to be at a specific political party's convention. Here's what I mean. Does this mean that Donald Miller would vote for someone who has a D behind their name in the voting booth, regardless if the person is a person of character and integrity and a person who has ethical values and has opportunities of influence that Donald Miller admires and supports? If he is the poster boy of the postmodern era, then of course not. Human institutions are suspect. We're way beyond denominations, institutions, organizations. We look at things in a case-by-case scenario. At least that's the way that he writes, and that would be the way that I would think, the viewpoint that he would have. And so for pastors in the public realm, in particular when it comes to the whole organization, I just don't think it's helpful at all. And even if it would be supporting an individual candidate, I think that there's a real risk of compromising and surrendering some of your leadership. Because as a missionary, we are not supposed to say, okay, everybody that we are reaching out to, everybody we're sharing the gospel with, they need to be as self-differentiated as we are. Well, they do not need to be that. You can have somebody who's totally Republican or totally Democrat and who is spiteful and bigoted against the other party, and yet you still need to reach them. And to start out with, you would not have an audience whatsoever if you had placed yourself in a position where you're saying, I officially am an endorser of this specific political party. Now, once in a while, we do make exceptions. I mean, it's not as if you would never support any kind of an organization that other people who are potential Christians vehemently hate, and I probably haven't reached too many Minnesota Viking or Chicago Bears fans during my lifetime. But you know what? Football is one thing, politics is another.